Are you sitting? Are you listening? And are you open to learn about something new? Because today here on FTD Facts is going to be an interesting day where you and myself are going to learn about the people and culture of the great and humble and bold country called Sweden. And for many of you who have joined us here on FTD Facts before, know that we've talked a lot about this country in the past. And we've learned so far that it is a country that has a beautiful people, a warm heart, and most importantly, it's just an overall good place to live. Welcome to FTD Facts, everybody. My name's Dave Welpel, and as you can see, this is part 3 to our Sweden videos. Now in our last video, a lot of you guys had some really nice things to say about Sweden, but a lot of you guys like Epic Editing Skills, Prizzy98, Carl Bergman, the Swedish Selmas, and many more of you guys wanted us to do a part 3 on Sweden. And before we get in this video, speaking of part 3s for our regular viewers, we are actually really attempting to take a lot of our part 3s and part 2s and get them all the way up to part 4s. This is because we have a special week in mind where we want to do a lot of part 5s to some of our famous videos. And some of our videos are already at part 3, such as Pakistan part 3, Sweden, as you know, is now part 3, Russia, we've only done a part 2, and of course Dubai, we've only done a part 2. But to get more of these videos, we want to start incorporating people who actually live in these countries and get information from the actual people that live there. And in order to do so, what we want you guys to do is head on over to FTD Daily, sign up for our mailing list, and we will send you out our production schedule. And just to let you guys know, if you guys want to know what videos are coming up in the future, you gotta sign up before the end of the month because the production schedule goes out on the 1st of every single month. So head on over and sign up there, but first of all, let's get talking about Sweden. Because here we are returning to this cool country, and we've already talked a lot about it, but this time we're digging deeper. Yes, we're going really in there. Now today we aren't going to dive too much into the history like we did in our previous episode, but we're going to focus more on the achievements of the country. Now for example, when you're driving, you may know of the 3-point seatbelt. Most cars have them today. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure all cars have them today. An invention that has saved millions upon millions of lives. As a matter of fact, tests have done in the United States that have shown that it reduces 20 to 55% of fatalities in vehicles. And the first car to ever have a 3-point seatbelt was the Volvo PV544. And in case you guys didn't know, Volvo was founded in Gothenburg in Sweden in 1927. Now the Swedish may have given us the 3-point seatbelt and might be engineering geniuses, but it's not just cars they're known for, it's also bridges. The Öresund Bridge is a railway and motorway bridge that goes over the Öresund Strait from Sweden to Denmark. It is 7,845 meters long by 23.5 meters wide. And yeah, it may not be the tallest bridge, coming in at 204 meters high. It stands as Europe's longest railway and vehicle bridge, and it only took 5 years to build. Now in Sweden, you may already know this, that it has only one time zone. This is because Sweden is very vertical in landscape, it doesn't stretch out over different time zones. But one thing to know is it was the first country to introduce standardized time across a whole nation. This happened on January 1st of 1889, and the reason for this was to get rid of confusion and delays for their train systems. Okay, one interesting fact that I loved about Sweden, and I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense, this can't be real, but apparently in Sweden, you can't name your kid Elvis or IKEA. What? And in order to understand why it's illegal, we have to dig deeper. Because it's interesting to know that if you have a kid in Sweden, the name of your child has to be approved by the government. And when you are having a child, you have to submit the name 3 months in advance before its birth. This started in 1982 and it is monitored by the Swedish tax agency. And I'm not gonna lie, I've never heard of a country having this sort of law before, so I feel like maybe this is the only country that does this, but I could be wrong. If you know of a country that does that, let me know down there in the comments below, because I'm just totally out of the loop right now. Keep in mind, it's not just names like Elvis and IKEA that are illegal, but it's also names like Jesus and Allah because of their religious significance. So Sweden, Stockholm, it might be a really interesting place to go, but some of you may not be aware of the color by numbers. Now this is really cool. This is a permanent light structure located at the telephone plant in the city. But what's really cool about this structure is that you can change the lights through your phone. All you need to do is call a certain number, you get to use it for 5 minutes, and you press certain buttons on your phone such as 1 to 9 to change the tower's colors. Speaking about phone calls, Sweden is the only country in the entire world that has a phone number for the whole country. Or at least they had a number that you could call, which was 46 771 793 366. And for a small amount of time, approximately 71 days, you could call this number and they would connect you to a random person in the country. And you could ask them anything. We should do it right now. And call, speaker, here we go. No, it didn't work. Now the reason for this, it was all part of the Swedish tourist program. And overall they had 197,678 calls in 2006. Of course, when we talk about Sweden having things that other countries don't have and its achievements, we can't forget about the Olympics, because these guys just know how to play the game. Sweden has been partaking in the Olympics since 1896, but as of 2017, they have over 600 medals. Wow. Sweden has won 494 medals for the Summer Olympics and 144 medals for the Winter Olympics. And in total, they have 195 gold medals for both Summer and Winter Games. And speaking about Olympics, Sweden has only hosted the Olympics once. This was in Stockholm in 1912, where they even ranked second, winning 24 medals that year. As well, they had 444 athletes competing. And throughout history, they have won second many times. But in 1948, they finally came in first at the Moritz Winter Games in Switzerland. Now, talking about one of my favorite things, alcohol. Let's talk about Absolut Vodka. Because Absolut Vodka is a famous drink from Sweden, and it was actually owned by the government. What? As of today, it is the third largest vodka drink in the entire world, and this is since its introduction to the international world in 1979. It was originally created by Lars Olsen Smith in 1879, but by the years of 1917, the country took hold of all the alcohol being produced within the country, basically making a monopoly over the entire industry, and the government of Sweden owned Absolut Vodka until 2008, when it was sold to the French group Pernod Ricard for $8.3 billion. And although it may be owned by a French company, it is still produced in its original home of Aarhus in Sweden. Now, Sweden may have had a lot of cool achievements for itself as a country, but one thing its people are fantastic for are their intent to protect wildlife and cultural significance, as well as history. And one area of example is the Laponian UNESCO area. Inscribed in 1996, it is the world's largest unmodified landscape to be still cultivated by natives. It is roughly 9,400 kilometers square and is home to the Sami people. Now, the Sami were indigenous people who lived in the area thousands of years ago, and they are currently one of the 5 minorities recognized by the Swedish government. As well, they are the people that the government of Sweden apologized for in 1998 for historical mistreatment. But the Sami people are famous for having a connection with reindeer for thousands of years, being the first people to not only domesticate them, but herd them. And parts of the Laponian area is used as pasture for their herding. It's also surprisingly home to a mountainous terrain, a small town, and 3 hydro stations. And speaking about mountainous terrains, this area is also home to the second largest mountain in Sweden. That is Mount Sariktajaka, standing at 2,089 meters. And if you want to climb it, well, good luck, because it's not accessible by any road, and it'll take you approximately a couple days to reach the top. But what can be said about Sweden? It is really interesting to learn about the achievements of this country, and we haven't even listed them all. And perhaps maybe in the next video, we will dive into more of its achievements and its history of how Sweden came to be. Which reminds me, guys, if you haven't seen part 1 or 2 and you want to learn more about Sweden, you guys might want to check those out on our channel. But I'm Dave Wobble, and it's been a pleasure to talk about the great people of Sweden and their country. And just to remind you, before you guys head on out here, sign up for our mailing list so you guys can get the production schedule for our future videos and you guys can get involved. Because we want help from you guys to learn about these great countries and peoples from all around the world, and we just want you guys to be in our videos as well, whether you send us photos of you within those countries or you send us facts about those countries. It doesn't really matter. And also feel free to leave a comment down there for a future FTD Facts video, whether it be a person, whether it be a cool place or structure that we haven't talked about, a country, a city, or maybe even an animal, because we do talk about animals. Leave it down there. But this is Sweden, a great and powerful country that knows its humble place within the world. A protector of peace, pride, and opportunity. It is a unique place filled with beauty and wildlife. This is the country of Sweden, home to the people of the north, who may seem cold, but have very warm souls. Thank you once again, guys. Before you head out, hit us up with a subscribe button or maybe a like on this video if you feel like it. But more importantly, if you haven't seen our previous video on Sweden, check out that or part 2. Also, if you like learning about countries and people and want to expand your knowledge and feel good about learning about other cultures and people from around the world, check out our countries playlist and learn about some really cool, fascinating places that you may not know about. But hey, that's all your choice, and until next time, have a stellar one.